I never thought my life would be decided during a quiet Sunday dinner, but that was exactly where it began, with my mother pushing a white envelope across the table like she was casually offering me dessert instead of a future. Jae-min, she said softly, this family is perfect for you. Kang Seo-jun, 25. Seo. Strong alpha. Stable future. Stable. That single word always felt like a cage disguised as comfort. I stared at the photograph inside. A tall man in a tailored black suit, sharp jawline, dark eyes that looked like they never softened. He stood like someone who didn't bend for anything or anyone. Do I have a choice? I asked quietly. My father sighed. Son, arranged marriages are not about forcing. They're about protecting. You need someone who won't break you. Break me. Of course he said that. Everyone in the house still pretended they didn't know about Min Hae-jun, the boy I loved for 2 years. The boy who used my feelings as a prop for his attention-seeking lifestyle. The boy who kissed another Omega backstage during a rehearsal, and then told me I was too sensitive for being upset. I wasn't healed. I wasn't ready. But I was tired of hurting. So I nodded. I'll meet him. 3 weeks later, I found myself standing outside a cafe in Gangnam, staring at the man whose photograph I had memorized. Kang Seo-jun. He was even more intimidating in person. Tall, broad-shouldered, black coat draped perfectly, eyes sharp enough to carve stone. He looked up from his phone as I approached. Han Jae-min, he asked. I bowed slightly. Enna. It's nice to meet you. He didn't smile. Not even a polite one. But he didn't look cold either. He looked unreadable. We sat inside, steam curling from our hot tea. You agreed to this marriage because your parents insisted, he said, not bothering to sugarcoat anything. My heart skipped. I wasn't expecting that level of honesty. I don't know yet, I admitted. I haven't decided how I feel. Something flickered in his eyes. Approval? Relief? Couldn't tell. We don't have to rush, he said quietly, surprising me. We can build slowly. I'm not expecting you to love me right away. His voice was low, steady, almost comforting. And for a moment, for the first time in months, I felt safe. Maybe my parents were right. Maybe stability wasn't a cage after all. But safety has a cruel sense of timing. 2 weeks later, at the Fiancé Spring Festival, I learned how fragile hope can be. I was there with Dion, trying to relax after midterms, eating strawberry shaved ice, laughing at nothing. My phone buzzed with a message. Seo-jun, I'm here, near the main stage. Let's talk after the performance. I didn't know he was coming, but my heart reacted before my mind did. I stood on my toes, searching the crowd until I finally saw him near the stairs to the stage. He looked beautiful under the evening lights, hair slightly messy from the wind, hands in his coat pockets, eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on me. Before I could wave, someone grabbed his hand. A tall guy, someone I didn't recognize, pulled Seo-jun toward him and kissed him, right there, in front of hundreds of people. In front of me, my breath vanished. My chest tightened painfully as if someone had ripped something out of me. But what destroyed me wasn't the kiss. It was the look in Seo-jun's eyes when he turned toward me. Not guilt, not panic, not even surprise, just stillness, like he expected this moment to happen, like he was bracing for it. Dawn gasped beside me. Oh my God, Jae-min, isn't that your fiancé? People had already started whispering. Was that the CEO? Isn't he engaged? Who is that guy he kissed? The world became noise, and I became nothing. Seo-jun finally pushed the stranger away, gently, not harshly, and took a step toward me. Jae-min. I stepped back. His expression tensed, the first crack in his perfect composure. It wasn't, he tried again. I don't want to hear it. I whispered, voice trembling. I thought you were different. I thought you were safe. His jaw tightened. He actually looked hurt for a moment, a flash of emotion quickly buried under cold restraint. Let me explain, he said, voice low. Explain what? My voice cracked. The kiss you let happen? Or the lie you let me believe? He shook his head slowly. It didn't mean anything. That's the part that hurts, I whispered. People around us were still staring, still whispering. still judging. I turned away before my heart completely collapsed. Jaemin. His voice dropped, deeper, almost desperate. Don't walk away. But I did. Because if I didn't, I knew I would break right in front of him. And I refused to let anyone see me break again. The spring wind stung my eyes as I pushed through the crowd. I had no idea where I was going. Only that I had to get away from him. From the whispers. From the kiss replaying in my head like a cruel loop. I reached the empty lawn behind the festival tents and finally let myself breathe. Or tried to. My phone buzzed again. Seo-jun. He shouldn't have done that. Please, Jaemin. I need to talk to you. I stared at the message. Until the screen blurred. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. I wanted to ask him why. But instead, I typed. There's nothing left to talk about. The engagement. I don't want it anymore. And before I could change my mind, I hit send. The message I sent should have ended everything. I don't want the engagement anymore. 14 words that felt like removing my own heart just to stop it from hurting. But endings are never that easy. Not when the other person refuses to let go. I spent the next 3 days avoiding every possible trace of Kang Seo-jun. No messages, no calls, no news articles, no photos of him that showed up on random feeds. I blocked his number. I blocked his work phone. I blocked the assistant who kept trying to reach me. But even after all of that, I couldn't block the memory. The crowd gasping. The stranger's hands gripping Seo-jun's jacket. The kiss. The way Seo-jun's eyes had locked with mine across the sea of people. I hated how every night ended the same way. Me staring at the ceiling thinking about a man I barely knew. But still stupidly hoped would protect my heart. On the 4th day, I finally stepped back onto campus. Telling myself that if I stayed hiding any longer, dawn would break down my door. I wasn't prepared to see him there. Kang Seo-jun, standing beside the literature building entrance. Like a beautiful, dangerous storm dressed in a charcoal suit. Students were staring, whispering, "Isn't that Kang Group's CEO? He's so handsome. Why is he here? Is someone in trouble?" And then someone murmured, "I heard his engagement broke." My stomach twisted. I almost turned around and left, but his eyes found me instantly. Sharp, focused, locked on me like I was the only thing in his world. Han Jaemin. He took a step forward, but his voice wasn't commanding. It was low, controlled, like he was trying not to scare a wounded animal. I froze. "Hyung," Dawn whispered beside me, grabbing my sleeve. "You don't have to talk to him." I swallowed hard. "I know." But Seo-jun didn't move closer. He just stood there, staring at me with an expression that didn't match the cold CEO image at all. He looked tired, and conflicted, and somehow hurt. "Please," he said softly. "I just want to talk." His voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the chatter around us like a blade. Students held their breath. Some even stepped aside, curious and shocked. Dawn hissed, "Why does he sound like he's in a drama? What is happening? Why does his voice sound like that?" I gently squeezed his hand. "It's okay. I'll be fine." He reluctantly let go, giving Seo-jun a warning glare that would have melted lesser men. I stepped toward Seo-jun. He exhaled softly, like he'd been holding his breath this whole time. "Can we talk somewhere private?" he asked. "No," I replied quietly. "Say what you need to say here." His jaw tightened for a moment. Then he nodded, accepting my boundary without pushing. That alone hurt me more than anything, because it showed respect. A respect I didn't want to feel right now. Seo-jun lifted his eyes to mine, voice softer than I expected. "The man who kissed me," he began. I don't care who he was." I cut in. "It doesn't change what happened." His eyes flickered. Not anger, not annoyance, pain. "Jaemin," he said carefully. "He ambushed me. It wasn't mutual." I laughed. A bitter sound I didn't recognize coming from my own throat. "You didn't push him away." "He was drunk," Seo-jun said, voice steady but low. "He's my cousin. He's going through something." I didn't want to embarrass him in front of everyone. Cousin? Drunk? Going through something? My heart stumbled, but I forced it back into place. So I was the only one embarrassed? Silence. Seo-jun closed his eyes for half a second, regret flickering across his usually controlled face. I didn't know you were there, he murmured. I would never hurt you like that intentionally. His tone held something frighteningly sincere. I swallowed. My throat was tight. It doesn't matter anymore, I whispered. I can't do this arranged marriage thing. Not with someone who. Who what? He asked gently. Who represents everything I'm trying to escape. His eyes darkened with something unreadable. Your ex did this to you, he said quietly. My breath caught. How do you? I'm not stupid, Jaemin. His voice was calm but laced with something protective. I know heartbreak when I see it. And I know when someone is running away. I looked away, heat stinging my eyes. He stepped closer, but slowly, giving me time to move if I wanted. I didn't. When you said yes to the engagement, he continued, you were choosing stability over chaos, safety over uncertainty. And you gave me chaos anyway, I whispered. Seojun flinched. Actually flinched. The cold CEO Alpha reacted like I had stabbed him. I'm sorry, he said. Not like a businessman. Not like someone protecting his reputation. He said it like a man trying not to lose something precious. I shook my head. An apology won't fix anything. I don't want to fix everything, he replied. I just want the chance to try. My heart twisted painfully. Why was he saying things like this? Why was he looking at me like that? Why was he making it so hard to walk away? I took a shaky breath. I need time. Seojun nodded immediately. As much as you need. I don't promise anything, I warned. You don't have to, he said softly. I'll wait anyway. My chest tightened at the quiet conviction in his voice. As he stepped back, giving me space, he added, just don't disappear from me, Jaemin. His voice cracked on the last word. I turned away before he could see the tears threatening to fall. But what I didn't see was Seojun standing still in the chilly spring wind, watching me walk away, his hands shaking ever so slightly, as if he was holding himself together, only because I hadn't completely left him yet. For the first time in days, I felt my heartbeat slowing back into something normal. Not calm. Not even close, but steady enough that I wasn't shaking just by breathing. After talking to Seojun, I expected to feel lighter. I didn't. If anything, the weight in my chest doubled. Because now the anger and betrayal had a new companion. Doubt. What if he really wasn't at fault? What if I misunderstood? What if leaving him wasn't the right choice? But my heart had been wrong once before. Painfully wrong. I wasn't ready to trust it again. The next morning, I was walking toward the campus library when a hand suddenly grabbed my elbow. I stiffened. Jaemin. I turned. Kang Min-seo, Seojun's younger brother. Fluffy brown hair, bright eyes. Ridiculously handsome in a friendly, approachable way, the complete opposite of his stoic, cold older brother. He looked out of place standing among students, wearing an expensive coat and holding 2 cups of iced Americano. I wanted to talk to you, he said, offering me one of the cups. I blinked. Why? Because my stupid Hyung won't tell you anything properly. He shoved the drink gently into my hand. And because I like you. I choked. What? Not like that, he laughed. I mean, I already like you as my future sister-in-law. I nearly dropped the coffee. Sister-in-law? I sputtered. Yes. Well, brother-in-law technically. He waved a hand dramatically. You get it. I wanted to disappear into the ground. Before I could respond, Min-seo's expression softened. Hyung really isn't good with emotions, he said quietly. He freezes up, especially when it's someone he actually cares about. My heart stumbled again. No, I wasn't gonna fall for vague hints. Not again. I don't think he cares about me, I said. We barely know each other. You don't understand, Min-seo whispered, stepping closer. Hyung has never brought anyone home. Ever. Not even for business dinners. But he told our parents about you the day after your first meeting. My breath caught. He said, Min-seo continued softly, I want to approach this the right way. My fingers tightened around the cup. How do you know all this? I asked. Because, he sighed. I overheard him arguing with our father about it. Arguing? But why? What did they argue about? Min-seo hesitated. You should hear it from him. I frowned. He already apologized. There's nothing left to say. Minacio shook his head. No. Hyung needs to tell you the truth behind that night. His eyes lowered. The guy who kissed him, that was our cousin. His name is Junhyun. Cousin. Seojun had said that, but something about the way he said it didn't feel complete. Minacio continued quietly. Junhyun Hyung and Seojun grew up together. They're close, like real brothers. But recently, he swallowed. Junhyun's fiancé left him for someone else. It broke him. My breath went still. He's been drinking a lot, doing reckless things, trying to get a reaction from Hyung. Minacio's voice dropped. That kiss wasn't romantic. It was a cry for help. I slowly lowered my drink. The entire festival scene replayed in my mind. The way Junhyun grabbed him, the way Seojun didn't push him hard, the shock on Seojun's face when he saw me. Guilt replaced the anger in my chest like a slow, creeping fog. Why didn't he just tell me? I whispered. Because Hyung doesn't talk about emotions. Minacio groaned. He talks about mergers, deadlines, and building height regulations. Feelings? Out of his skill set. Despite myself, I smiled weakly. Minacio brightened. There. You're smiling. My mission is 50% complete. And the other 50%? I asked cautiously. To convince you that Hyung is absolutely miserable without you. Huh. He hasn't eaten properly. He barely slept. He almost fired his secretary for mentioning your name. I blinked rapidly. That's not healthy. That's Hyung, Minacio said, shrugging. He panics, but in the most emotionally constipated alpha way possible. A small laugh escaped me before I could stop it. Minacio clapped loudly. Yes, that sound. Hyung will literally faint from happiness if he hears this. Stop exaggerating. But my face warmed. Okay, listen. His voice softened. Do whatever you want. You don't owe my family anything. You don't even owe Hyung anything. My chest tightened. But, he added quietly, at least hear him out properly once. Don't let a misunderstanding end something that hasn't even begun. I looked down at my coffee. Cold, sweet, bitter, like everything inside me. I don't know if I can trust him, I whispered. Minacio gently patted my shoulder. Then let him earn it. That evening, I sat in my room staring at the ceiling. Junhyun, broken heart, reckless kiss. Seojun standing in the festival lights, looking destroyed when I said I didn't want the engagement. My anger was fading, but fear remained. Fear of being hurt again. Fear of trusting again. Fear of falling for someone who might not catch me. I turned onto my side, hugging my pillow. My phone lit up. A new message. Not from Seojun. Not from Dawn. But from an unknown number. I won't contact you unless you want me to. But I'm at Banpo Bridge. If you come, I'll tell you everything. My heart jumped into my throat. Banpo Bridge. The most cinematic heartbreak place in all of Seoul. I stared at the glowing screen, pulse racing. I shouldn't go. I knew I shouldn't. But my feet were already moving. Banpo Bridge at night is beautiful in a lonely kind of way. The rainbow fountain lights sparkled across the Han River, coloring the dark water in soft blues and pinks, like the universe was trying to make heartbreak look romantic. I wasn't sure why I came here. Maybe I wanted answers. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I just wanted to see him one more time. Because the truth was, my heart had been too loud ever since I met him. I spotted him instantly. Kang Seojun stood alone near the railing, his hands in his coat pockets, shoulders slightly hunched in a way I'd never seen before. He looked human, not the cold CEO, not the unreadable alpha, just a man waiting in the cold for someone who might not come. When he saw me, his eyes widened just a fraction. Relief washed over his face like a quiet tide. You came, he said softly. I'm not staying long, I replied, though my voice didn't sound convincing even to myself. Seojun nodded, accepting whatever boundary I set, just like he always did. He took a slow step closer, but not too close. Careful, cautious, leaving space for me to decide the distance. Jaemin, he began, and his voice was low, steady but tense. I need you to understand what happened that night. I folded my arms. Your cousin kissed you. Yes, he said immediately. No excuses, no deflection. He did. And you didn't stop him. His eyes lowered, jaw tightening. I froze. Not because I wanted it, but because I didn't want to push him away aggressively in front of a crowd. He's already in a fragile state. Because of his breakup? I whispered. He looked up sharply. My brother told you. Only a little. Seo-jun exhaled, looking away at the shimmering water. Jun-hyun helped raise me, he said quietly. Our parents were always working. He was the one who took care of me, protected me, kept me safe. My chest softened despite my anger. For a cold alpha, he had an unexpectedly deep heart. I owe him more than I can repay, he continued. And when he lost the person he thought he'd spend his life with, he shattered. His voice cracked slightly. Not much, but enough for me to feel it. He's been drinking, acting out, trying to feel wanted even for a second. Seo-jun swallowed hard. That night, he thought kissing me would prove he wasn't alone. I felt something twist painfully inside me. So you just let him? No, he said firmly. I didn't let him. I was just slow, shocked. It happened too suddenly. By the time I reacted, he stopped, looked at me again. You were already looking at me like I was someone you couldn't trust. His words hit like a punch. I forced my gaze away. You should have told me sooner. I know. His voice softened. And I'm sorry. Silence stretched between us, filled with water sounds and distant city lights. He took another step closer. This time I didn't step back. Jae-min, he whispered. I know you've been hurt. I can see it. The fear in your eyes, the way you flinch when someone gets too close, the way you try to stay strong even when you're breaking. My breath caught. But I'm not him. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to manipulate you. And I will never make you feel disposable. His voice grew firmer. I want to protect you, even if it takes time, even if it means waiting, even if you never choose me. My throat tightened painfully. Why? I whispered. Why do you care so much? We barely know each other. He looked at me like I'd asked the saddest question in the world. Because, he said softly, you're the first person who ever made me want to know more. My breath stilled. Not a grand confession. Not dramatic. Just pure honesty. The type of honesty that scares you because it's too genuine. He reached toward me slowly, so slowly I could have walked away 10 times, and lightly touched my sleeve. Not my wrist, not my hand, not my waist, just my sleeve, like he was asking permission to exist a little bit closer. His voice dropped to something raw and unguarded. Don't end our engagement yet, he whispered. Not until you hear everything. I stared up at him, heart pounding too loudly. What's left to hear? He hesitated. For the first time since we met, Kang Seo-jun looked unsure. There's something you don't know about that night, he said finally. Something about me. A chill swept over me. What do you mean? He looked away, then back at me, then away again. The unshakable CEO was visibly struggling. I didn't come to the festival to talk about wedding plans, he said slowly. I came to confess something. My lungs froze. What? Confession? He swallowed hard, eyes fixed on the river. I wanted to tell you that His phone rang, loudly, urgently. He flinched, tearing his gaze away. The screen flashed. Jun-hyun, his cousin. Seo-jun closed his eyes for a moment, torn. I have to take this, he murmured, voice tense with worry. He walked a few steps away, speaking quickly, urgently. His shoulders tightened. His voice shook. Something was wrong. Very wrong. He ended the call and turned back toward me, eyes dark with fear. Jae-min, he said, breath unsteady. I'm sorry. I have to go. Jun-hyun, he's missing. My heart dropped. What? I'll explain everything later. His voice broke. Please. Don't disappear before I come back. And then he ran. The cold alpha who never lost control. Ran through Bampo Bridge lights, like the world was collapsing behind him, leaving me alone with a truth I wasn't ready to face. He wasn't just cold. He wasn't just distant. He was breaking too. And maybe, somewhere inside me, I didn't want him to break alone. Couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing the way Seo Jun had run, not like a CEO rushing to handle a crisis, but like a brother desperate to protect the only family member who'd ever truly raised him. His mask had cracked completely, and I'd seen everything he was trying so hard to hide. The fear, the guilt, the desperation. The truth was becoming harder and harder to ignore. He wasn't cold. He was lonely. The next morning, I went to campus early, hoping studying would distract me. Didn't. Every sound felt too loud. Every passing thought felt too heavy. By lunchtime, Dawn was staring at me like I'd grown a second head. "Why do you look like a sad puppy waiting outside a convenience store?" he demanded. "I'm not waiting for anything," I muttered. "Really?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "Then why have you checked your phone 70 times in the last 3 hours?" I froze. He smirked, crossing his arms. "Are you worried about him?" "No." My voice cracked too quickly. "Maybe." Dawn sighed dramatically. "You have the emotional range of a K-drama male lead. Just admit you like him." I opened my mouth, and my phone buzzed. My heart jumped. "Unknown number. I'm outside your building. Please? Can we talk?" "Seo Jun." My breath caught. He came. He actually came. Dawn nearly screamed. "Go. Now. Run like the wind." "I'm not running," I said, but I was already halfway to the door. Outside, I found him leaning against a black car, dressed in a gray coat, hair slightly messy, eyes dark from lack of sleep. He looked nothing like a CEO. He looked like someone whose world had just fallen apart. "Jaemin," he said softly when he saw me. Just hearing my name in that quiet, exhausted voice made something inside me twist. "What happened?" I asked, stepping closer before I even realized it. His eyes lowered. "We found him," he murmured. "Jun Hyun." I stiffened. "Is he okay?" "He's alive." His voice cracked. "But not okay." Seo Jun swallowed hard, his throat bobbing. "He was at the river. Drunk. Freezing. Barely conscious." "Oh my God," I whispered. "Thank you for coming last night," he said suddenly. "I don't know what I would have done if I didn't see you at least once before everything fell apart." My chest tightened. He had been holding on to me, even when he was falling apart. I took a small breath. "Seo Jun, you should sit." He hesitated, then nodded. We sat on a bench near the building. He kept a respectful distance, but the space between us felt electric. "I'm sorry," he said quietly, "for everything you've been dragged into, for the way things look, for not explaining sooner." "You don't have to apologize," I murmured. "You had an emergency." "I do," he insisted, looking at me with raw sincerity. "You deserved honesty from the beginning." I messed up. His voice was low, steady, trembling. "I don't want to lose the engagement because of one moment I couldn't control." My breath hitched. He continued, softer. "And I don't want to lose you." The words sank into me like warm rain. "You don't even know me well," I whispered. "I want to," he said immediately. "So much more than you think." His gaze dropped. "You think I didn't push him away because I had no problem with the kiss. But the truth is," he clenched his fists. "I froze because I didn't want him to fall. He was drunk. He's fragile. And I'm all he has left." My heart softened like melting snow. "I understand," I whispered. He lifted his head slightly, hope flickering in his eyes. "You do." "I do." I held his gaze for a moment. Family is complicated. And sometimes, love looks different when you're protecting someone. Something in his expression broke, collapsed, melted. "Jaemin," he murmured, voice shaking for the first time. "I don't want to be the reason you hurt again." He exhaled shakily. "I want to be the reason you feel safe." My heart skipped, then stumbled, then fell. He turned his head, staring at the ground. "Last night, before the call, I was finally going to tell you the truth." "What truth?" I asked softly. He hesitated. Too long. Then, "That I want to try with you. Not because of an arrangement. Not because of our parents. But because I like you." My breath caught. "I don't expect you to say it back," he added quickly. "You don't even have to care about me yet. Just don't walk away. Not yet." Silence. So thick I could feel it rubbing against my skin. I didn't know what to say. My mind was chaos. My heart was louder than ever. He slowly stood. I should go. You need time. He bowed politely and coldly, like he was retreating back into the CEO mask. Panicked. Wait! Before I could think, I reached forward and grabbed his wrist. He froze. His breath stopped. Mine too. The wrist I held was warm, strong, and trembling slightly. He turned slowly, eyes wide, shocked. I'd never seen Kang Seo-jun shocked. I swallowed, voice barely a whisper. I'm not walking away. His lips parted in disbelief. And I added quietly, I don't want you to walk away either. For a moment he didn't breathe. Then his free hand slowly, hesitantly, rose toward me and brushed a strand of hair behind my ear. Not grabbing, not pulling, not claiming. A gentle, protective touch, like he was afraid I'd disappear if he touched too hard. Jaemin, he whispered, voice breaking in the middle of my name. My chest tightened painfully. This was it. The wall he'd spent years hiding behind? It wasn't a wall. It was armor, and it had just cracked open for me. After that day, after I held his wrist, after he touched my hair so gently it felt like a promise, everything between us changed. Not loudly, not dramatically, softly, slowly, naturally, like winter melting into spring. A week later, for the first time since the engagement was announced, I went to Kang Corporation headquarters. Not because of a meeting, not because of family pressure, because he asked. Come whenever you want, he'd said in a quiet message. No expectations. Just, I want to see you. Just see me. Why did those 3 words affect me more than anything else? I walked into the building, nervous and breathless, past glass walls and polished marble. Employees stared. They bowed. Some gasped softly, because the cold CEO had told them not to disturb someone important. Me. When the elevator doors opened on the executive floor, I saw his assistant, Mr. Park. He bowed immediately. Han Jaemin SSI, the CEO has been waiting. All morning. I blinked. All morning. Mr. Park smiled knowingly. Yes. My heartbeat became a ridiculous drum. Inside Seo-jun's office. He stood at the window, hands in his pockets, suit perfect, posture stiff. But when he turned and saw me, his entire expression softened, like a warm breeze blowing through a frozen landscape. You came. I said I would. I whispered. Even so, he murmured, walking toward me. Thank you. He didn't hug me. He didn't touch me. But he stood close, very close, enough that I could feel the subtle, steady warmth of his alpha pheromones, wrapping around me like a protective shield. I have something to tell you, he said. My heart skipped. What is it? Before he could answer, the door burst open. A man stumbled in, taller than me, pretty face, brown hair messy, eyes swollen from crying. Junhyun, Seo-jun's cousin, the one who kissed him. I went rigid. Seo-jun's entire body froze, but his hand moved slightly forward, as if blocking me from instinct, not touching me, just protecting. Hyung! Junhyun cried, rushing forward. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for everything. Seo-jun grabbed his shoulders, steadying him. Junhyun, calm down. I embarrassed you. I hurt you. And I ruined your relationship. My breath hitched. He turned to me suddenly, eyes full of guilt. I'm sorry, Jaemin SSI. I was drunk and stupid and jealous. Jealous, I whispered. He sobbed harder. Yes, not because I love him romantically, but because he's the only family I have, and suddenly he was choosing someone else. The words hit me like a cold wind. Choosing me? Junhyun bowed deeply, forehead almost touching the floor. I swear I won't do anything like that again. Please don't leave him because of me. My eyes widened. Leave him? Junhyun hiccuped miserably. He has feelings for you, even if he's too stupid to say it. Junhyun. Seo-jun snapped, face flushed. I froze. Feelings? For me? Jealousy sparks. Just then, a maintenance worker rushed into the office without knocking. Seo-nim. The reporters are already outside. He stopped abruptly, staring at me, and the next words shattered the room. They're saying you canceled the engagement because of Junhyun kissing you publicly. My stomach dropped. Reporters. Rumors. My name dragged into the kiss scandal. People assuming I broke things off. People assuming Seojun cheated. Junhyun paled. I'm sorry. I caused all of this. But Seojun walked forward. Past him. Past the worker. Straight to me. He grabbed my wrist. Not tightly. Not painfully. But firmly. Like he was afraid the world would pull me away. Jae-min, he said. Eyes burning. I'm going to fix this. How? I whispered. He took a deep breath. This engagement started with our parents. He stepped closer. But it's going to continue only if you want it. My heart stuttered violently. People outside called his name. Cameras flashed through the windows. But he wasn't looking at them. He was looking only at me. I haven't said this properly, he whispered. But I need you to know. His hand lifted gently, cupping my cheek. I froze. His thumb brushed my skin softly, and my body felt like it had been plugged into electricity. I like you, Han Jae-min. His voice broke. More than I should. More than I planned. And definitely more than I can pretend not to. The room stopped. The world stopped. I felt my breath catch painfully, beautifully. I don't want this engagement because it's arranged, he continued. I want it because I want you. I tried to speak. Nothing came out. He swallowed hard. If you still don't trust me, I understand. But let me show the world the truth. That you and I are on the same side. I blinked through the sting in my eyes. How will you show them? He stepped even closer. His forehead touched mine. Slow, gentle, intentional. I'll kiss you, he whispered. My heart exploded. Not like that night. Not by accident. Not forced. But because I want to. My breath shuddered. Seojun, people are watching. I know. He pulled back just enough to meet my eyes fully. Will you let me? His voice trembled. The cold alpha was trembling. My lips parted. I don't know if I'm ready. His hand slid down. From my cheek to my jaw. Slow, respectful, tender. Then I'll wait, he whispered. But before I could reply, Junhyun burst out crying again. Please kiss him before I get blamed again. Seojun groaned. I laughed unexpectedly. The tension broke. But the moment remained. Seojun's gaze softened even more. He leaned in, stopped a breath away, waiting, asking without words. I nodded, just barely. But he saw it instantly. His hand slid behind my waist. Warm, secure, steady. And he kissed me. Soft, slow, gentle. Like a first snowfall landing on warm skin. No chaos. No confusion. No fear. Just truth. When he pulled back, my face was flushed. My heart racing. He whispered. This time, I wanted it. I whispered back. This time, I did too. Outside, reporters shouted. Inside, Junhyun clapped loudly in tears. Mr. Park fainted dramatically. But none of it mattered. Because for the first time, the arranged marriage felt like destiny. Hope you guys enjoy the story. Do like, share, and subscribe.